Joined now by Matthew Boyd. Matt, the other day, you achieved 10 years of service time when Jameson Taillon brought over that glossy black box of, I'm assuming, champagne. What was going through your mind?
Oh, man, it was a really nice gesture of him and the guys. It's one of those things that, like, you can't do alone. You're a product of the people around you, through all the different ups and downs, the coaches, organizations that give you opportunities. I mean, my wife, all those times that came back and trying to just talking about things she probably had no clue of, just bouncing ideas off her, and all the way back to your parents just driving you to Little League fields, right? Like it's a culmination of all those things, and it's one of those things that it's just a lot of gratitude looking back on it.
Is there a particular characteristic that you think you have that allowed you to kind of persevere through the years of injuries and kind of rebounding from things that, you can almost maybe tell a younger player, like, hey, if you have this, you'll be able to get to the point I've gotten to?
I mean, shoot, I don't know if it's my job to assign myself any of those characteristics. I'll leave that to other people. But I will say that you have to have a heart of you have to have a heart and a mind of willing to learn and adapt. You have to know who you are, and your identity. I mean, most importantly as a person, but as a ball player, and while at the same time, like, being able to take instruction and adapt and learn without losing that identity, because you can have a wealth of knowledge and lose who you are very, very quickly in this game. And understanding what got you there. Everyone wants to assign a label to you. Everyone wants to tell you that you should be somebody else, but the reality is the people that are great, they're one of ones, and they got there with their unique skill set, and you can do the same. Just because someone hasn't done it that way, it doesn't mean you can't.
Is there a particular mentor you've had throughout your career that really stands out as someone that's positively influenced you?
Yeah, I mean, so many people over the years, so many different coaches. My father was my coach, since from 9 to 18, and he still coaches me to this day. And my dad has been one of the biggest influences on my baseball career, if not the biggest, without a doubt the biggest. Another person is a guy named Don Carmen, former big leaguer, and he's really taught me a lot about the mental game. I wouldn't be where I am without him, and I know he probably would not be happy me saying that, but his mentorship has guided me through a lot of the ups and downs and through this whole process.
How cool is it to have a lot of other veterans in here? Some of them do have 10-year service as well and such, and share like a very interesting balance between a young clubhouse with a lot of up-and-comers like Pete, but also a lot of veteran mindsets, even like Jameson Taillon and others here, and yourself.
Yeah, it's special. I think I've played on both sides of the spectrum. I've played on old Tigers teams. I've played on that were veteran heavy. I've played on a Guardians team that was the youngest average age in the league, and we made it to ALCS, and I've got to be on this team. And I like this. I think there's no formula, that equates to success. However, it's really special to be on a team like this because the challenges are different, in a great way, because it's like, there's a lot of knowledge to lean on in here. There's a lot of steadfastness, which is something that's hard to come by in this game. And we live in a world of gut reaction and knee-jerk reaction, and to have guys that are constant through the process of it is something that's you can't put a price tag on, and it's what stands through the storms, and it's really cool to get to share that with not only a guy like JMO, but also 5 guys, even a guy that I went to college with. Now I get to share 10 years with him in the same clubhouse, in Michael. So it's really special, and it's something that you definitely take notice of because it doesn't happen often.
I can't get you out of here without asking a pitching question. I find it fascinating throughout your career how your secondaries have kind of oscillated in performance. Yeah. I remember talking to you last year. We were talking about how you're trying to get your slider feel back, post some of the injuries you dealt with, and trying to get the vert down on it. Mm-hmm. Now it seems like the slider's been really good, and the changeup, which was amazing last year. Talk about that balance of those two pitches throughout your career.
Yeah, I mean, they sometimes I think that you throw, I don't know, I've always been of the mindset of, like, you throw what's necessary. Sometimes in a game it'll dictate you leaning on a pitch that over your career might be a 10 to 15% pitch, like in a curveball. Sometimes it's lean heavy on the changeup or the slider. I will say that the best versions of each pitch, I haven't had them at the same time. It's kind of fun right now to have a slider. My slider is unique when it's right. It has depth. It's slower than most sliders, but it also has more depth than a normal slider. And it's a good counter to my changeup, as well as playing off my fastball with the approach angle. So when you're able to, the slider's fun because you can throw it to both sides of the plate to a right-hander. Changeup is more, is not that pitch. It's mostly an arm side pitch. So to have an opportunity to have something has a tighter movement profile, but similar depth, and throw that opposite of the changeup with a fastball that plays up is just, it's fun to have. And not to mention a slower curveball, that's a change of pace and has more depth than all of them. So it's like, I think we have a game in the game right now, we focus so much on how a pitch acts in a vacuum. However, it's the sum of all parts that can really, take away a hitter's slug, mess with timing, and limit damage in that sense. So when you have them all going, it's a lot of fun, especially when they're working on all cylinders. And I'm not saying that they are right now, but there's always room to improve. But it's fun to have them both working right now.
Matt, I appreciate the time as always. Congratulations on 10 years of service time.
Thanks, Lance.